Good to see everybody today. We appreciate you taking a look at this. Today I have Isaac Wambua with me. Isaac, interesting guy. Everybody who knows Isaac feels their life is a bit richer because of that knowledge. He's a guy with a big heart, not a huge body,
It's not
small
expanded,
compact body. Yes, but big heart, big brain. So Isaac, thank you so much for being here today.
You're so welcome. And Tim, thank you for this opportunity. Always a pleasure to talk to you. Of course, you're my friend and one of the best people I know. So thank you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. So Isaac, if you would, please, if you would just give a little bit. You've got a fascinating story. Tell a little bit about where you grew up and how you got here and your life's work, of course.
Yeah, my story is I'm not sure how interesting it is, but I'm originally from Kenya. That's where I was born, and I grew up in the eastern side of Kenya, right in the village, and went to school in Kenya, primary school, high school, college, and then I moved to the US about 15 years ago to do my master's degree. As an engineer, I worked for about almost 9 years, and then I transitioned to do business coaching and consulting. And this came as a result of a need that I saw in the companies that I worked with, struggling with making profits and processes and systems, and sometimes having very high turnover, not being able to keep the employees. So it was just out of a need. But beyond that, right after I got into business coaching, I learned a lot of things about myself. I figured engineering was not really my thing in terms of growth and what I really wanted to become. I'm a very social guy. I love people. I grew up in a community where my cousins and my uncles and everybody in the village, really, we just interacted. So this is very much me feeling at home, being in the business world and having a chance and opportunity to really help people to become what they want to become, to accomplish their dreams, and even helping their teams and the people that they interact with, even their business associates, to become better and what they want to become. So my story has been some kind of transformation, growing up in a kind of a poor environment. And when I look at it, it was more of a character building environment for me, whereby I was taught several attributes on how to respect people, how to work hard, how to push through no matter what happens. And these have served me very well to becoming an engineer, whereby you work on solving problems. Sometimes even when you cannot see what's going to happen tomorrow, you become very hopeful. And then transitioning into business, whereby I work with business owners and entrepreneurs, whereby, again, you can't predict what's going to happen tomorrow. Anything can drop. And right now, as we speak, we have the coronavirus, which is a very unfortunate situation. But again, we are going to get through. So that has been my story up to this point.
Fabulous. Thank you so much. Yeah, I appreciate you sharing that. So I'm curious, first, how this has impacted you. I know that you do some remote work already with clients. You have clients in other parts of the US, so that probably hasn't been impacted too much. But I'm curious how this has impacted you, and particularly what lessons are you seeing that are important not only for yourself but for your clients during this time, so that they can just keep their heads above water while facing this challenge.
Yeah, first off, I'm very grateful. I'm fortunate that I adopted technology a few years ago. I do a lot of coaching sessions virtually, so I already had most of the systems set up. But the biggest challenge has been for my local clients and those that we've been meeting one-on-one, being able to transition them to do this, whether even over the phone and doing it on Zoom. Some of them were not set up for this kind of technology that we need. But it took me just 2 to 3 days really to get everything set up. The biggest challenge, like I said, I'm a social guy. And so once in a while, at least twice a week, I usually get out and go meet with people, whether I'm trying to build business or not. So being at home for a whole week, I think I kind of surprised myself. So I've been able to adjust as fast as I could. The other biggest challenge has been to help my clients to stay hopeful. Because when you think about what's happening right now, people are getting all kinds of information, sometimes contradicting information. So keeping them on track to do what they're supposed to do every single day without getting distracted, that has been a challenge, but we are getting there.
And I'm curious, Isaac, how has that changed? It's one thing for you to advise your clients and help them stay on track when there's normal business activities.
Right.
You do inventory, you talk to, you counsel employees, you train employees. What does that look like now for businesses who have had to make such a radical change and step away from their day-to-day operations?
It's been tough for them. First off, they're not just thinking about themselves and the business, they're thinking about the people that they serve. And with this kind of a situation, you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. Right now we are staying home. There was a rumor that there was going to be a lockdown, the whole country, and stay home. And there are people who have inventory, some perishables. There are people who have leases that they're still expected to pay the rent for that. So it's been a tough transition for them. But one thing that I've managed to do is to show them the silver lining, and again, being able to do what they're supposed to do every single day, not to change so many things at the same time, to talk to the employees. And I have a few things that I'll share with those who have teams and those who don't have teams. I have a few pointers for you and the things that we've been able to do with my clients, really to stay on track. From my side, and what I figured that would be more helpful for them is not just to give them extra sessions in terms of the coaching, but to check on them at least twice a day, and to give them the access to text me, to call me, to email me anytime. I've been able to gather enough information, really more accurate, distilled, digested information. Because if you go online, you can get all kinds of information about what's going to happen, what you're supposed to do. So that has been really good for me and my clients. They really appreciate that. So staying in full communication every single day.
Terrific, terrific. Say, I'm curious, are there 2 or 3 key things that you're sharing with your clients in terms of their communication with their teams, their communication with their employees? 2 or 3 critical areas that you think will help these folks weather this storm and come out of it with a pretty good, in pretty good shape, whether this is 30 days or 60 days, 90 days, however long this takes us, where they can have that communication and keep their employees on board. How are you advising your clients?
Yeah, so about a week and a half ago, I sat down because I kind of saw this coming, and I asked myself, what are the key things that any business owner needs right now, my clients included? And I narrowed down to 3 things. Number one, people are looking for hope. Your team, your vendors, the people that you work with, they are looking for hope. And the easiest way to communicate hope is to show them that things are going to get better, even when you are not sure they are going to be. They always get better. And sometimes they get worse before they get better. So people are looking for hope more than anything else, because I discussed with a few people who do business consulting like me, and some were for the idea of more strategy. And I figured people always have a strategy, they have a plan, they have a proven process that they have been using for years. So right now, people need hope more than anything else. So my advice to my clients, and we are really actively implementing that, is communicating to their employees and their teams in a professional, of course, and a very calm manner. Even when they are freaking out inside, they are supposed to communicate hope. Right?
And Isaac, if I can, how are they conducting that communication? Are you encouraging them? Have they adopted this technology so they're communicating with their folks through web chats, that sort of thing? Yes. Or are they doing more email, text messaging, that sort of thing?
Yes, I would say 90% of my clients have adopted the video conferencing using Zoom or any other platforms, Hangout, whatever that they have, and have a list that I give to them, and I help them to set it up. So my recommendation is to communicate through that. Now, most of the companies usually have regular meetings, like weekly meetings. My first encouragement was, don't cancel the meetings, because people need to hear from you. They need to hear your voice. Again, their first reaction, I believe it's because of what's happening. They think they need to be drifted more towards the operational side and just send an email, a mass email at 4 in the morning. I advise them, and I know this for sure, that people need to hear your voice. So whenever you do it through Zoom, and again, you see their face and they can see that you're confident, they are likely to have more hope. So Zoom has been huge for us, or other video conferencing with whichever platform that they have. And those who have not been able to do that, they do teleconferencing. I help them to set up freeconferencing.com, and then they can just get on a conference call and communicate with them.
That's great.
So that has been huge.
That's great. That's great. Are there either that you've seen currently because of this challenge or just on an ongoing basis, are there critical areas that critical mistakes, areas where companies could make a wrong turn during this time that you're advising your clients, watch out for this especially, this is a real danger?
Yes, there are two main areas. Number one, there are people who within 2 days they were already thinking about laying off their employees.
Wow.
And not because they don't care, but they are a little conflicted. Really, people care about their teams, but they're like, okay, maybe I need to lay them off right now so they can probably potentially qualify for unemployment. But again, I felt that was moving too fast. So one thing that we did, I'm a numbers guy. I said, okay, sit down and put together a list of all the things that you pay for. How much do you need if you didn't make any money for the next 2 weeks or for the next 1 month? At least how much do you need to pay for your overhead, for your bills, for everything, to pay for payroll, and put it together. And when we did those numbers, we realized, the situation wasn't as bad as they thought, because they are still, making some money. So we were able to put that on the side. Nobody has been laid off yet. And the second mistake that I've seen people want to make, and some of them have made it already, not my clients, but outside my client circle.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Is making a lot of changes altogether. They feel they need a different marketing strategy. If they have never done anything online, they feel they need to set up something online immediately. They need to change the hours. They need to change this. And I said, you don't want to make changes. You need to make adjustments. Those are two different things. Adjusting to the situation day by day, hour by hour. Don't make major changes, because we know change is very uncomfortable and it's not very much welcome, especially at a time like this. You are likely to make a lot of mistakes, and it's going to cost you more. So avoiding those two is going to be key. So layoffs and change and making changes. And probably some companies are going to lay people off. There's nothing wrong with that, but you just need to make a very sound decision when you're doing that.
Sure. So you feel like you're positioning your clients so that when this breaks, whether that's 30 days, 90 days, 120 days, you feel like you're positioned that your clients who are taking these steps, both the positive steps and avoiding the key mistakes, will be in a position where they can relaunch in a relatively good spot. Is that what I'm hearing?
That's the goal. And we're already talking about, okay, we have a 2 month, 3 month, 4 month, really in increments of 1 month. What are we going to do when this wave passes? Because it's going to pass. And I'm not even calling it relaunching. It's about how do we get ready for the opportunity that's coming. I believe every business out there can see an opportunity in this crisis. And it's not about taking advantage of people, but it's seeing the opportunity in this. We are learning several lessons. We are going to change our systems and processes for some of the companies. So really, I'm getting ready to have probably the best year that they have ever had. I know this sounds really optimistic, but I'm not advising anyone to lower their goals and what they had. If they wanted to bring in an extra $2 million a year, they should not lower to $500,000 because of this crisis, because we don't know what's going to happen. You'll be surprised. We might have the biggest boom in the economy after this crisis. So I'm really getting them ready for that.
Fantastic. Isaac, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with us today. I always learn something when we talk. I'm sorry I haven't seen you in person for a while. It's going to be a bit.
Yeah.
This is a reasonable substitute for right now.
Yeah. Thank you again for this opportunity. And if you don't mind, can I add just one more thing?
Absolutely.
Okay. So one more thing that people really need is a sense of direction, for your people, besides really the regular leadership direction, and they need tools. Since we are now working from home, most of us, some of the companies were not ready for this. So we need to provide the tools besides the video conferencing. Make sure that they have a phone that's working and their computer and everything. And not everyone is tech savvy. So giving them that extra help is going to be huge for them. And I've seen that happen with my clients as well. And once again, thank you for the opportunity to share these ideas. And for those who really need help, feel free to direct message me on Facebook or send me an email, and I'll see how I can help you.
Sounds good. And I'll post your contact information on this video, and I'm sure folks will be reaching out to you. Isaac,
Fantastic.
thanks.
Thank you, Tim.
We'll talk soon.
Okay, bye.
Okay.